Hello, everybody. It's Trisha Lee Vanek here in sunny Alberta, Canada. And I'm here with my business partner, the extraordinary Laurier Liev, otherwise fondly known as Larry Lieber. And so today we are going to be discussing what we believe to be the world's most disruptive technology of all time, and it is a very currently growing technology. It's been around for 20 years, and I think you all are very familiar with it, obviously, if you're here. We are going to be talking about the information superhighway, otherwise known as the World Wide Web, the Internet, the online funhouse, if you will. So, sorry, I got mosquitoes got in the house. Dang kids. Anyway, there's a lot that can be said about the Internet, and it is disrupting everything from mainstream media to banking to magazine advertising to big box store sales to companies competing with each other. Sorry, mosquitoes. So yeah, there's a lot to cover. So Larry's going to get us started with why, actually what he's going to talk to us about, because I'm new to the Internet. I've been on the Internet for like a year. But Larry is going to talk to us a little bit about the start of Internet, because he got into the game pretty early. Whereas I was, I think, drunk when the Internet started. And all the guys in high school that were on the Internet were the nerds. They were the geeks, or what you will. They were not they were the undesirable outcasts, because the computers and Internet were not very mainstream, and probably all of those boys that we considered geeks are somewhere in Silicon Valley, eating at five-star restaurants and cruising in their Lamborghinis. So, haha, joke's on us, right? So anyway, Larry's going to talk to us about the Internet's beginnings and how it's evolved, and then I'll do some discussing of where I think it's going, and all the disruption that has happened along the way. All right, so what do you think about how the Internet all got started, Larry?
Oh, well, I had just quit drinking when I started getting into the Internet. And I think when I started working with the Internet, it was mainly about the time when it was still bulletin board servers is what everybody was talking about. And it was the Internet connection I had was through the public library, something called Freenet. And it was AOL was out there, but Freenet was just that. It was a free connection to the Internet, kind of like the way Wi-Fi is today. And I don't even think I was using email that much until later. What I used the Internet for was basically searching for whatever came to mind. It was like very new, and there wasn't a lot of websites out there. And I think I was using web crawler when I started, and I think web crawler is still out there to use. In fact, I know it is. So that's how the Internet got started for me, and it was new. It was very new. Bulletin board servers I liked because you could find specific information on each one, and I believe Freenet is where we went to get that information. So once you logged on to Freenet through using WordPerfect, is what we we were running on our computer. We weren't Windows 95 yet. We were using WordPerfect, and you could log in. And then once you logged in, it gave first thing after the welcome page was a page saying what the bulletin board servers were available. And so you could click on each one of those and go to those, and then I don't remember a whole heck of a lot about it. I think I really started getting more involved with the internet once I was working on I remember I was working on a business plan for about 2 years. So I kind of didn't go to the internet much, but I did a lot of work on the computer. And then I think it was in about 1995 that I really started. A friend of mine had Windows 95, and I went over to his place, and he was constantly on the internet, like playing games, or not so much playing games, but I know he had Windows 95. He didn't do much with it either. I think he downloaded a golf game, and we spent like 6 hours a day playing golf. We were both unemployed at the time. But what a change, you know. The internet comes about, and if you had a PC, you had to have a PC, and I was lucky enough that my mother had one. That's the PC I was using at the start, and it wasn't until about 1990. I think it was about 1997 I got my own PC, 97 or 98. And I got Windows, what the hell was I running? I think I was running Windows 98 at that point. And yeah, everything kept growing. It didn't have a website or anything. It was basically downloading music off Napster, if anybody remembers Napster and all that hubbub that happened with them. So, bringing us to make a long story short, up to today, how the internet has changed since it started is just.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Sure.
Let's stay back there a little bit. So I think with the internet, it's interesting how you bring up Napster. I think that an outsider's perspective, I didn't really even know about the internet really at all until Napster, because I was a Metallica fan, and it was the main guy from Metallica that made this big stink about Napster, and then I was kind of made aware at that time that people were downloading music on the internet, and I was a big music fan, so all of a sudden it came into my awareness. I did not hop on a computer and start looking for music. I continued to go to HMV, but that incident actually made me aware of the internet's existence and gave me some sort of
Uh-oh.
incident. And then I think that, oh gee, we lost Larry. So I want to guide him a little bit here. But I think that that incident that occurred with Napster, and I'm not even really all that sure on what exactly occurred, because it was just brought into like a very shallow level of awareness. I didn't, like I said, I didn't hop on a computer and start looking for music to download. I just became aware of a little bit of what was going on with the internet. But I think what I was trying to get at is that Napster incident and the effect of the internet on music was probably the first example of the technology of the internet actually being disruptive. Because I think up until the Napster incident, a lot of people like me weren't even aware of the internet and that it was even having an effect until this Napster thing came out. And then I think there was a realization that the music industry was being disrupted by this technology. So, like I was saying when you cut out there, Larry, that I don't really know that any of the details about Napster, other than that brought the internet into my awareness, and I think that the first main example of the technology of the internet causing a disruption. So can you talk a little bit about the details of what exactly occurred there and how you feel it disrupted the music business?
It's funny you ask that because it was all about copyrights and paying royalties to the musicians. So being a musician myself, it was kind of, six of one, half dozen of the other, as they say. I didn't really want to take sides because as a struggling musician, I was not selling millions of records like Metallica, and plus I wasn't a really huge fan. Um, so I think, but what it was really all about was royalties. And when you write a song and it gets played on the radio or whatever, the artist who records it gets paid. And the same goes for if you listen to their music or even if you play their song publicly, they still get paid money. So it's great to be a performing musician with hit songs on the radio because you make lots of money. And I'm pretty sure Metallica was making lots of money when they decided to go after Napster because Napster was getting pretty big, had a lot of following, and including myself. And so I still have a lot of those MP3s that I downloaded from Napster. It's kind of funny because now you can go to YouTube and get whatever you want, and nobody even says a noise. Nobody even makes a noise about it. You can get whole movies from YouTube and post your own movies, post your own music.
I'm not too sure about that. The copy.
I'm gonna keep getting cut off.
I'm back. So yeah, going back to Napster, that was the first big disruption that the internet had on kind of mainstream. I think maybe it might have affected some telephone stuff in that before, but it wasn't very. It was a small effect, and now the internet has completely snowballed into this like mega um, kind of marketplace. Really, it's so much more than that, though. It's like there's so much to offer there because you can go shopping, you can be entertained, you can do research. It's like this um, super library almost, and it's not just like your local library. It's like a global, super global library, if you will. That's how I kind of view it now, and there's so much there to offer that I'm a little overwhelmed with this topic. So it's like I don't know where to take the conversation next. What do you think, Larry?
I didn't catch much of what you were saying there because I was having problems with my connection here. Sorry.
It doesn't matter. What do you think about the internet as a disruptive technology? I just was saying I'm not really sure where to take the conversation because it's such an overwhelming topic. There's so many areas of commerce that have been affected by the internet. Like we could talk about the example of Netflix and Blockbuster. Did you have an opinion about that?
Oh yeah, well, definitely. I think that I was watching, I think a comedian actually talk about that recently on how Napster, or not Napster, but Netflix and Blockbuster. Um, everybody used to go to the movies places at the corner of the block and pick up their DVD or VHS when they started, and you take that home and watch your movies for the weekend and then bring them back on Monday if you didn't forget, and then you'd have to pay late charges if you forgot. And you'd bring your DVD or your VHS back to the next day. And now with Napster, or keep saying Napster, Netflix, and other things like Netflix, where you can actually just push a button on your computer and boom, there's the movie you want to watch. You don't have to go anywhere. So I think what you're getting at, or might have been talking about, was um, how the internet is making it so easy for people not have to go anywhere or do anything. They can just pretty much use the computer to get what they want. They don't have to go out and do stuff. They can just use their PC or whatever they've got for a computer. Even their smartphones now can do stuff that laptops do. It's just phenomenal. So yeah, the electronic gadgetry is keeps changing and changing. However, I did make some notes before the hangout of different things that are on the internet on how they're actually um, disruptive technology and how they've changed the way people's lives are. Uh, I think the first thing that comes to mind is the way PayPal works. When buying things, you used to have to put your credit card. I remember you had to use your credit card and put that information on the website that you're buying something from, and that it wasn't really safe unless they had that little lock logo on their website saying that it was secure, but that wasn't really, from what I've heard, it wasn't really a secure thing either. And so that's where PayPal came from. Was born from, I think Elon Musk was involved with that. Another Mr. Disruptive Technology started that, and it's now made it a lot safer to order things online by using PayPal because it directly links to your credit card. However, it's not traceable on a website. So as far as commerce goes, or e-commerce goes, the PayPal has disrupted a lot simply because you can also link your bank account to your PayPal account, so you don't even need a credit card. So that hurts the credit card businesses because they once were the main way of purchasing on the internet, and then PayPal changed all that. And I'm sure I've been hearing new ways of e-transfers where you just need the email of a person, and you don't even have to use PayPal anymore. So I don't know how it remains secure, but somehow they say, well, it's all secure as long as you've got this information. But everything's hackable, as they say, or can be hacked by whoever wants to do that sort of thing. So I don't think anything's really 100% secure on the internet. However, PayPal is.
My philosophy on that, and me, I'm all about law of attraction, and I figure the more you worry about someone committing fraud against you and looking for scams and stuff, the more you're going to get ripped off. So I totally believe that about almost everything. And definitely I believe that in the case of the internet. I've always been very I've only been here a year, but I've always been very comfortable making purchases. I think they've close to perfected it with PayPal and the security of online purchasing. And I think that only the people that waste time being worried about ripoffs and fraud are the ones that get scammed. That's just my opinion on it. So, what? How else has you mentioned the credit card companies aren't big fans of PayPal? Wasn't there something you were talking about before we went live about the banks being disrupted by PayPal?
Yeah, there's now a lot of ways to do banking online, so you don't have to go into a bank to do transactions. You can actually do things online. In fact, there's now, I think, banks that work exclusively online. I was looking at some, for example, when transferring money from out of the country, outside your country to live in, to bring money into the country can be kind of tricky. And now there's banks strictly online for just doing that. It's really quite amazing. And that kind of reverts back to the PayPal and being able to use that. There's other sorts of products very similar to PayPal. But something we didn't even talk about yet was like email. Like that's really the basis of I think a lot of internet stuff. I remember when it was first was really new, a lot of people were always on about this email stuff, and nobody really, I didn't really know what it was. I knew it had to do with the internet, and I did end up getting an email address and finding out how quickly you could send somebody a message by mail electronically, and it was huge because in order to do something like that prior, you had to send it by facsimile, or you had to send it through the post office, or you could phone the person up and read them whatever you had written down. But with the email, that really disrupted the post office, and I think it still is. Like the post office is downsized so much, and the price of stamps has gone up so much. You can tell how much just email and internet has affected the postal service. Like there's not a lot of movement of paper anymore, which is great for us in our other business, the recycling business, because I'm sure with curbside recycling, with what we do there, we'd probably be picking up twice as much office paper as we do now if it wasn't for email. Like email has been a huge disruption in the pulp and paper industry, which is a good thing, not having to cut down trees to make paper so people can write letters and put them in envelopes. Been a real environmental boost, and it'd be kind of neat to look at the stats as to when we started using email, how much paper was consumed back in the day and how much is consumed today. It'd be a real interesting study to see the reduction.
Yeah, and I think going back to what you were talking about before, yeah, I think that you would definitely find a lot less paper moving through the post office as compared to earlier, and also with the PayPal. I can remember being a little girl and going with my mom to the bank and having to wait in these like phenomenally long lines. And I've seen that a few times at the bank as an adult. However, it seems like I remember as a kid every time we would go to the bank. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom, so she would choose the off hours to go there. She wouldn't be showing up at noon when people were there for their lunch hour rush. She'd be going later on or in the day or earlier in the morning. And I can remember as a little kid, there's always a big lineups at the bank. And I think that the online banking phenomena has, and as well as the automatic tellers, has totally reduce those lines intensely. And so yeah, the internet probably just compounded the effect of, because I'm a big fan of online banking. It's an amazing tool. And like I said, I never worried about getting ripped off because I just don't believe in it. So I just think I got the best, attract the best things to me all the time. So there's no need to even think about such things. And so also in regards to email, I think it's even now, I think it's evolved so quickly. Like email was a big freaking deal, and it didn't really affect the post office right away. And then as soon as it kind of got to this place where the post office, I remember, I think it was in the States, they were like saying they were bankrupt or something like that. But right around that time, all of a sudden email stopped having the significance that it had before with the advent of things like the Facebook chat and texting. Now everyone is more mobile with the internet. There's Wi-Fi service all around. A lot of these cell phone providers are providing internet to these smartphones. I don't have one, but everybody around me seems to have one. And so with these, the internet being so mobile and with them all the time, people, you know, a lot of times don't check their email for months or days, depending on the person. And even businesses are not as quick to respond to email as most of the websites are really, really good, but if you get any kind of small business and any offline business that is on the internet, they tend to be less responsive to email, and I think that that's just the evolution that's occurred because of the new technology. It's also new, but they're the newer of the texting and the Facebook chats. And so another area where we had identified that the internet has been really disruptive is print industries. So like magazines and newspapers and like even like billboards and any kind of like typical advertising, print advertising methods have been greatly affected by the internet. And I think most of the newspapers and magazines have actually kept up significantly by providing all of their articles and stuff on the internet. Like I think almost every major magazine and newspaper has a huge website that archives all of their print media. However, I think that they're also at the same time suffering from a decline in the consumption of the actual hard copies and printed newspapers and magazines. And so I also see that there's a big movement of citizen reporting that's going on the internet. So I feel that there's a good chance that a lot of the magazines and newspapers, although they have websites full of their articles and stuff, I think that a lot of people are turning to places like blogs and getting citizens reports on a lot of their media and news consumption. And so I feel that, and I feel that a lot of people, myself included, feel that that type of information is more reliable because history has shown us that our mainstream media and seems to be very easily influenced by the government, and they have been caught on many occasions, not so much lying, but filing misleading reports or maybe fabricating information or embellishing on reports, or leaving out pertinent facts and details of reports that take away from the context. And there's been so many examples of that, especially in recent history, that people are I think that even the print media, the magazines and the newspapers that have kept up to date by having websites with their content, I feel pretty strongly that the people that were consuming that information are probably visiting those sites less often than they would have in the past. I think they would have been more likely to consume the material via print than they are now to consume it on the internet. Do you have any thoughts on the effect on print media that the internet has had as a disruptive technology, Larry? Hello, William. William's here.
Hello, William. Yeah, it was like we were discussing earlier with Facebook and magazines and all this stuff. It's almost like you can make your own news. Like, you can make your own news show now. When something happens, like over the past couple of days, there was that Malaysian airplane, a jet airliner, that was tragically shot down. That raised so many question marks for me, because it's really an act of war, and because there's nobody known as to nobody knows exactly what has happened. It was shot down in a war region with the Ukraine and the Russians are kind of at each other right now. It hasn't been I don't even think there's been a declaration of war. This plane gets shot down over that airspace over the Ukraine, and all of a sudden, boom, there's footage of it on YouTube, and the footage was very graphic. Like, you could see the bodies on the ground, and there's Al Jazeera, I think, was there, or some foreign news agency reporting, which of course gets picked up by an American news agency. And they had things like people's airline tickets and passports that they were showing on TV. And I can't imagine having seen this on YouTube as soon as it happened, because more than likely it would get posted on YouTube before it even makes it to the news channel. So, and I just thought, yeah, there's that person's name. Wow, I wonder if that person was on Facebook. Sure enough, I looked that person up on Facebook, and their last posting was the day of the tragedy. And it just makes you feel like you have this amazing control over, because the internet is there, you have this control of how you can see the news, rather than watch the news get reported. You can actually start putting things together yourself by using the internet. And so, and there's no commercials. It's like, boom, okay, this is on YouTube now. And it's just amazing how fast it's instant, how news gets to the internet now and is available for the world to see, and also available for the world to determine what is coming out is the truth and what is bullshit, because we all know that a lot of big networks, they only show what they want the people to see. They don't always show the truth. So yeah, definitely the internet has become like a super magazine where there's no or super newspaper. You can't even categorize it. What I can't even figure out how to categorize what the internet is when it comes to information. The information superhighway.
Super global library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah, with sites like YouTube and Vimeo and stuff, the potential for online reporting or on the scenes reporting is phenomenal. Like, the information is available like in real time.
yeah, and like I say, it's all uncensored. I never imagined myself looking into something like an air disaster and seeing what the scene is really like where the aircraft comes down. It's very disturbing, and a lot of people don't see that on the news. They think when planes crash, like everything just disappears and turns to dust. It's not always the same, especially with I think there was almost 300 souls lost on that.
Only if they crash into buildings. They only turn into dust if they crash into buildings.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, that's what we're supposed to believe, right? So anyway, let's not go there. Yeah, so definitely at the current time in history, because of the way the internet has disrupted our lives, really, it's pretty easy to draw the conclusion that it's been the most impactful of all disruptive technology that the world has seen thus far. Another thing that we were talking about, the internet has impacted commerce, like big department stores and stuff. Sites like Amazon have pretty much destroyed bookstores. We were talking about print media before, and I've left out books. But yeah, bookstores there's been a lot of bookstores just gone bankrupt, I believe, in the last few years. And also with sites like eBay and Banggood, they have really put a dent in a lot of just the buying habits of the general public, and it's so much easier to go online and just at the click of the button have something brought to your door than to go out to a big department store and have to fight the crowds and the weather and transportation and just the internet. More convenient.
And the same applies to business, like we were saying the other night, on how King Sunshine Solar Systems has gone to directly to the manufacturers to purchase things. So it's not only for the general public, but business can buy things in places that they never could buy them before, and it's so easy.
It's awesome. But yeah, definitely, I'm sure there's a lot of distribution that has been totally disrupted, where probably small distribution centers are being replaced by larger ones that are able to service more people because they can just display their products on a website rather than have to have a storefront in every community. Do you think of any examples of maybe business? I'm thinking one of Sears, and how Sears, this kind of goes way, way back, but they kind of started as a catalog shopping. Yeah, and then they moved more into having actual stores, like there was big Sears stores at the mall. And now I think that, yeah, they've kind of, if it still even exists, actually, I'm pretty sure they do, but I think now they've turned more into catalog and internet only, and they've closed down most of their, almost all of their department stores, and they just run out of a big distribution hub where you either have to go online or to a catalog and order from them, and there's no longer a Sears store in every community. Instead, there's just whatever shipping company that they use that sends everybody their products out of a big distribution center instead of a bunch of small outlets in every, like I can remember small towns having a Sears. It was mainly like a pickup place in the small towns, but they had a Sears where you could go in and pick up the stuff that you ordered via catalog. And then in the city, they had the big Sears store, which I think that there still exists, but the stores are no more, I believe. Actually, there still might be. I don't think there is, but I know that they still operate because we.
Yeah, I think the stores, there's a lot of stores that are still there. A lot of stores have, like you say, disappeared. It makes you wonder when people are gonna. I know it exists out there that people can go online and buy food. I remember, excuse me, I was working on a startup where I was putting together a business plan so that seniors could go online and go shopping at their favorite grocery store by looking at video.
That totally exists.
Yeah, I was working on
Yeah.
it about 2001.
Yeah, but it totally exists now. You can go online and order everything you want from almost any store. I think that the majority of them, like I know Walmart, have to arrange your own shipping. So either through Purelator or whoever you want to use, a local pickup and delivery service or whatever. But
yeah, and so I don't know how many people would want to go for that because I think a lot of people like to look at their produce. However, I think that's just if it is an issue, it'll go away pretty quick. Because if you look at things like the organic box, something that we've used in the past, it's always organic, fresh stuff and really, really high quality.
yeah, yeah, definitely. More and more businesses are coming online absolutely every single day, every day, every day, and it's definitely a really good place to be. Project AWOL is this community that I'm a part of, and they teach internet marketing, and it's I feel, my personal opinion is that internet marketing is the most valuable skill set that exists on the planet. There are people cashing in to the tune of literally billions out there that are involved in internet marketing. It's such a huge opportunity, and any business that is not using the internet as a tool for growth and customer relations is really, really missing out. They're missing it, and it's going to be a hard survival if they are not adapting to the marketplace, because which is really exciting for us, because being that we're involved with developing a disruptive technology, I feel that we're also, thanks to Project AWOL's training, on the cutting edge of internet marketing. So when we combine those two things together, it basically is like an unstoppable force. The opportunity is it's infinite in my mind. It's completely infinite, because having patented disruptive technology that's brand new, that it's never existed, that nobody's seen before, and combining that with the power of internet marketing and that super valuable skill set of being able to get the word out about a new development like this, and a new product, and being able to package it in a way that makes it super attractive to the consumers, it's just an amazingly powerful feeling to know that just feels so right that these two worlds are colliding, and to know that we're going to be able, like this hangout is a great example of how we're using the internet as a tool to create viral sustainability. And as long as we continue to consistently provide this value to people, talking about this subject, and hopefully giving people insight on how to build on their idea and take it from a thought to actual business. By providing this information. So I was just saying about how doing this hangout, as long as we consistently continue to do it, we're going to be able to create viral sustainability, which will eventually turn into tens of thousands of followers. And by the time our product is actually ready for the marketplace, we will have hungry buyers already connected to us and already following us, and already with their credit cards in hand, waiting to take advantage of the opportunities that we're going to be providing with our new technology and internet marketing. And actually, if you're interested in getting started before the product is ready, in all of our hangouts, there's a description below that describes the internet marketing training that I've been involved with, and we've had some amazing results from using those strategies that we learned from Project AWOL and the Empower Network, and we'll be sharing updates on those results really, really soon, and super exciting. And yeah, if you're a business and you're not involved with the internet in any way, shape, or form, you want to find the Project AWOL link and take a look, because they will take you from zero to where, like, infinite possibilities of being able to grow your service, product, company, whatever it is, using the internet as a tool. It's super valuable. And yeah, and that's the next probably big disruption that I see coming out of the internet is
the Google Hangout.
Huh?
The Google Hangout.
Well, what I see but I'm talking about the offline stuff that will be disrupted. I think that ad agencies, because there's so much good information, not only from Project AWOL, but there's other resources. I think Empower Network and Project AWOL is the best because they have the most variety that I've seen. Like I bought another internet marketing course for like $5,000, and it was good information, but it wasn't. The variety wasn't there. There wasn't as many options for how to build a business with what Project AWOL provides. It's basically tailored so that any personality can take the information and customize it to your specific business as well as to your strengths. Because something that I've been learning from all the studying that I've been doing is that really to say, okay, I'm not very good at this, let's study it and get better at it, is really a waste of time, because I think I believe we're all born with our own unique and special talents. And so because we have these amazing talents and these things that we're so good at, they're usually, because of the balance of life, there's usually some things that we're not so good at. And so what I've been learning is that rather than focusing any time on the things that are not your strong suit. You should focus all your time on what you're already strong at and basically get as proficient as possible at the things that you already have a natural talent at. And I've experienced this in my own life firsthand, working at jobs where I just didn't have a natural talent, and I struggled, and I tried to learn, and I did learn things, but I never did have that aptitude that allowed me to be successful. So now what I've learned is that, okay, let's focus on where you are strong, and I've been doing that for a year now, and I'm telling you, when we set up this hangout to share the results that I've got from Empower Network and Project AWOL, it is going to blow people's minds, because it's blowing my mind. It really I'm so excited to share it with you, but it's a little early to I think I'd be jumping the gun if I said anything today, but probably by this time next week I will be screaming and dancing on screen during this hangout, describing to you guys what exactly has gone on, because it is definitely a cause for celebration, and it's been a lot of work to be able to achieve the results that that I have accomplished. So proud of myself, but at the same time, it's so necessary, and it's all because of the law of attraction. And had I not been spending this year improving myself and striving to keep my energy vibrating at that higher level of joy and gratitude, I wouldn't have these results. But it's just amazing, and that's like the main thing that Project AWOL is doing. Is showing you, I think, how to apply the law of attraction to the opportunity of the internet. And so, kind of like what we were talking about, combining the internet with our new disruptive technology, AWOL is combining the internet with the law of attraction. And so, because the internet is such a big opportunity, when you apply the law of attraction to it, it's mind-blowing what can go on. I'm so excited about sharing with you guys what has occurred, and yeah. So, and I'm also really excited about consistently doing this hangout, because I know that the things that we're talking about, there are other people out there that are interested in these topics, and that we're sharing value, because as entrepreneurs, and Larry as an inventor, we've had some really, really interesting experiences on this journey, and made some really, really, really boneheaded mistakes. And just by sharing that information on this platform with all of you, we can help prevent you from making those same mistakes, and then we can also help you with getting through stumbling blocks, getting over those stumbling blocks, because we faced so many of them. I think that we have a lot of really valuable experience, and I'm super happy to share it here with other people, especially people that are part of our mission. I was talking about my outcomes earlier today, and for me, my outcome is clean air, clean water, and eventually immortality. And people think that I'm crazy when I talk about that. However, my whole thing is that even if immortality is impossible, I don't believe that. Some people do. But even to the people that believe that, what could be the downside of attempting to live forever? Just by the mere fact of making an attempt to achieve immortality, we as a society are bound to live longer. And I think that's why longevity has increased and will continue to increase, because there are people out there that are actually focusing on making that happen. So totally possible, totally doable in my mind. But to the people that think it's impossible, what can it hurt to try? Like the worst case scenario, if we try to live forever, is that we live a little bit longer and maybe even healthier. So um, that's a little bit off topic, but as I stated, I feel that when we put this new technology together with the internet, the possibilities are infinite, which I think infinity and immortality have this connection where you can't really have one without the other. So that's where it kind of ties in. But we're coming up to the top of the hour here, Larry. So the internet is such a big topic, and it's had such a huge effect on our culture, and it's been completely disruptive, and it will continue to be disruptive as we move forward. And for me, moving forward, I just think that if you take the time to learn the skill set of internet marketing, you will be on the cutting edge of opportunity for wealth and prosperity beyond your wildest dreams. It's just a skill, and once you have it, nobody can take it away from you. So I highly recommend that anybody interested in improving their lifestyle to find that Project AWOL link and really check out what these guys are showing people, because it is mind-blowing. And yeah, so my thoughts on the future of the internet is just that it's going to continue to grow and be an opportunity hotbed. What do you think, Larry?
I think we should just wrap it up on that note.
So you don't have any comments on where the internet is going as far as future disruption?
I don't think you can really predict that. You kind of have to just wait and see what happens. It's always seems to be a surprise to me.
Okay, well, I wasn't looking for a prediction, but I thought maybe you'd have some closing thoughts on where it's all going. But anyway, I'm pretty confident that anybody that hasn't got in at this point is going to be getting in soon and or regretting not being a part of it. So yeah, it's a growing thing. It'll continue to grow. It's not going anywhere. And I always tell people talk about, oh, if the internet crashed, we'd be screwed, da 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 da. And I just consider the fact that no, because if something happened to the internet, they would reinvent it or fix it as soon as humanly possible. So if anything were to happen to it, I know that it would be very, very short-lived. So with that being said, we'll wrap up our session for tonight on the most disruptive technology of all time, in our opinion, the internet. And thank you guys all so much for being here and watching, and looking forward to having more viewers and guests in the very near future. And so with that, I'll just say good night. Bye, Larry. And if I don't see you in the future, I will see you in the pasture, because that's where I'm going to be, 6 a.m. So time for this cowgirl to get to bed. Bye, everybody. Good night.